Sean, are you where
Wow,
you at?
you singing and all that.
Yeah.
Wow,
It's,
okay,
it's not.
okay,
Listen, I'm wide awake. I took a great nap, a good nap.
okay. I see, I see. I just saw the topic and I was like, let me tap in. Is black love something of the past? Wow.
Like you just coming on a date? Are you
What
on
are
a
your
date?
what are your
Well,
thoughts on it, Sean? You came up. What's up, brother?
what's going on? Salute to you. Good evening, ladies. Um, wow. Yeah, it might be. I haven't given up on it, but
Mm,
might it? A lot of people are just really selfish nowadays. It's
mm,
becoming very popular to be selfish, and there's a difference between selfish and uh, self-preservation. You know, if you're doing it with consideration of others, let's say you go doing you're being by yourself because you're getting yourself together because you don't want to bring um, unhealed mind or spirit to somebody else. That's one thing. But if you're just doing it to be independent, and that's what I think a lot of people are doing nowadays. They just have this need for independence instead of interdependence. And I think we were designed to be interdependent. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people right now who are trying to be independent, especially in our community.
I
You are
agree.
you single, married, uh,
Single. Yeah.
single? You what do you think about the dating market currently?
And what
Uh,
first
s-
of all, what's your location? That makes the difference. So where, what state or where, what city are you
I'm in
in?
Los Angeles. Los
Okay.
Angeles.
Oh, girl. Okay. Now
What did that
proceed.
mean?
I mean, I think that people, I think major cities have it a little different than smaller, rural towns, right? So I
Hmm.
think that a lot of times, and the reason why I say that real fast is going to go off a little bit. A lot of times when you see these trends, right, and people are talking about income and stuff, what they leave out is what's your location, because location changes everything, the entire dynamic of the conversation, right? So I wanted to make sure that we know your location. So when you speak, you're speaking from your experience as a man who lives in Los Angeles. So go ahead.
Okay, well, not specifically. I am speaking. I do live in Los Angeles, but I'm from New York. Lived in
Still a
quite a
major
few other
city.
states. Yeah,
Yeah.
lived in quite a few other states. But nonetheless, yes, you're right. It can make a difference. But the point that I believe I was saying is, how do I feel about the marketplace is similar to what I just said. The marketplace is really it's rough out there, because there's a lot of people who I guess what it really boils down to, we don't trust one another enough. And if we had a little bit more trust, then we might be able to have a little bit more faith in relationships. But everybody feels like you got to prove that you're trustworthy. And I have a tendency to go into it, I trust you until you give me a reason not to. You don't have to earn my trust because I'm not trying to make you, I'm not trying to make myself have to earn your trust. Because if you're trustworthy no matter how you look at it. If you're a liar when you start. If you're honest when you start. That doesn't change because you know somebody a little longer.
So what are if you was to describe the women that you've come into contact with, what like do you think the personality types are like? Is there a abundance of the same personality type? Is it a whole lot of different women? Is it similar to social media, like what we see on the social media thing, or like what's the comparison between those two things? You can answer
I,
any of those.
I don't think that there's one type. What I'm finding is that social media is just a whole nother world. If you're on social media and that's predominating in your life, that probably shows a lot about your personality, unless you're doing it for intentional reasons. Uh, I find a lot of wonderful women. I find a lot of great women who have great qualities. I was speaking to someone today, And I was like, "Yo, you're the epitome of a good wife. One of the problems is you just don't like to listen."
Mm.
And and I understand why you don't like to listen, because again, you are kind of afraid to trust because you've been disappointed so many times.
That's pretty good.
What's some of the things that made her the epitome of a good wife?
Well, the first reason is honest. If you're
Okay.
honest, that gives you I mean, that to me is what a good person is: wife, husband, etc. It starts there.
Mhm.
And it's hard to find that, unfortunately. You know, a lot of people say that they're honest. Pardon me, I'm just went into a dark space, so let me turn on a light again. See if I can get better light lit. But yeah, honesty is really the first core of a great person. And then everything else from there, because you can honestly say, I need help here. You can honestly say, I'm afraid. You can honestly say whatever it is that you're challenged with. And I feel like that interdependency is understanding that we're here to bring balance to one another. You know, I heard this once recently, and I've been embracing it ever since. You know, they was talking about who's the prize. And I would say the woman is not the prize. I would say the man is not the prize. A successful relationship is the prize. And when I heard that, I'm like, that's it. That's exactly it.
Do you want to get married?
Now I do. I was against the I was against the concept of marriage because what I grew up in, nobody really honored their marriage. So I was anti the marriage establishment, but I was always for having a monogamous relationship, or for having an honorable relationship. But I just was the system of marriage. I just didn't believe in. I thought it was a piece of paper. I have matured and learned that there are some substantial benefits to being married now. But initially, no, I wasn't. You know, I've been in long-term relationships, and that's why where I learned it through is because they wanted to get married, and I just felt like, I hear you, but that's just, I'm doing everything a husband would do. I gave you, I committed to you. I gave you my word of you are my wife. So the piece of paper is not going to establish anything other than a false sense of security. That's what my mind was. The security that you really look for, that you seek, is the security that I'm gonna give you by standing firm on what it is that I say.